Hey everyone, welcome into our latest Trade of Black podcast, the go-to source for all things related to cannabis investing, markets, and policy. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and today we're diving deep into something that every cannabis investor needs to know: the 5 hidden risks of investing in cannabis stocks. Let's face it, cannabis investing, it can be exciting. The industry is evolving and there's potential for major returns, and legalization efforts are gaining traction globally. But behind the scenes, there are hidden risks that could seriously impact your portfolio. So with that, let's break them down one by one so you can invest smarter and stay ahead of the game. So number 1, let's focus on federal uncertainty. Look, we all know cannabis is still federally illegal in the United States. Yes, some progress is being made. There's talk of rescheduling cannabis. Banking reform seems to be back on the table. But here's the issue. Uncertainty kills markets. Without clear federal policies, big institutional investors stay hesitant. Companies face banking restrictions, and we see stock prices swing dramatically, and that's an understatement. Cannabis stocks can surge on news of potential reform, but they can also crash just as fast when political momentum stalls. You have to be prepared for volatility driven by federal indecision. And now number 2, which is market saturation. There was a time when every cannabis company was expanding aggressively, assuming demand would soar endlessly. But now we're seeing oversupply issues in many regions. First one to look at are states like California and Oregon. Too many licenses, too much product, and prices dropping like a rock. Cannabis companies that fail to differentiate themselves risk getting lost in a sea of competition. As an investor, you need to ask, does this company have a unique advantage? Are they scaling strategically or just burning cash to grab market share? This is all part of market saturation. And now number 3, which is regulatory red tape. Investing in cannabis isn't just about growth, it's about regulatory survival. Every state has its own different rules, compliance costs pile up, and companies spend millions just to try to navigate shifting laws, and it is complicated. Now imagine federal legalization finally happens. Sounds great, right? Well, that could bring in an entire new wave of FDA regulations, taxes, and stricter oversight, meaning some companies will struggle to adapt. The bottom line is regulation creates winners and losers. As an investor, you need to bet on companies that can adapt quickly to new rules. And now number 4, which is limited institutional investment. And this one's key. Unlike tech stocks or pharmaceuticals, cannabis companies struggle to attract institutional money. Why? Because cannabis is still classified as a Schedule I drug, which means major investment firms and banks, they stay away. That means less liquidity, bigger price swings, and companies relying on high-risk financing deals to stay afloat. Without Wall Street backing, cannabis stocks are much more vulnerable to market downturns. The game will change, though, when big banks enter, but until then, expect volatility. And finally, the last one, number 5, questionable financials. So let's talk financial transparency, or a lack thereof. Some cannabis companies have unclear accounting, inflated revenue projections, and high debt loads. And we're seeing a lot of that right now. Not to mention cash flow issues due to harsh taxes like the 280E, which prevents them from deducting business expenses like normal businesses. So when evaluating stocks, look beyond the hype and focus on companies with strong balance sheets, realistic growth plans, and a path to profitability, not just exciting promises. So there you have it, the 5 hidden risks of investing in cannabis stocks. Look, investing in this space, it can be rewarding, but it's not a get-rich-quick scheme like it was in the early days of the Canadian cannabis landscape. Do your homework, focus on companies with solid fundamentals, and always keep an eye on legislation and market trends. I hope you like this information helpful, and if you like this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, smash on that bell for all notifications. Let's keep the conversation going. Leave your comments below and let us know what cannabis stocks you're watching and why. Love to get your feedback. Until then, this is the Trade of Black podcast. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone.